God bless you, and welcome to another Growing in Grace podcast. We're glad that you're with us, and we would love to have you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And we're so glad that you're with us. We'd like for you to tell your neighbors, your friends, and if you have somebody that you're not getting along with too well right now, let them know about it too. And it might just be a blessing to them, and it might help your relationship out. This is Growing in Grace, and we want you to grow and develop as a person in Christ and just as a person in general. We want you to be whole, soul, body, and spirit. And so today we want to talk about a situation that can impact the body. And I have my friend and my cousin,
Yes.
Arletha
Lemons.
Lemons, here with me today. And she's going to share with us about how she survived.
Yes.
And she survived stroke as well as breast cancer.
Yeah.
But today we're going to talk more about surviving breast cancer
Yes.
because that's the biggest part of her journey, as well as we're in the month of October as we record this, and it's breast cancer awareness month.
Right.
And it is very important that people are aware of what they should do for their health.
Agreed.
We are seeking wholeness, and your health is a part of that.
Absolutely.
And I'm about to turn it to you, but I do want to share this before just the importance of it. I recently was speaking with a person who, because they regularly get their mammograms, found something very early and it was very treatable. But it was very aggressive. But because they get their annual mammograms, they were able to detect early and do something early.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, and
That's
that's a very
good.
recent testimony about how important those regular mammograms are.
Yeah.
And so that was a success story. And they didn't have to do the evasive thing. They was able to do, I think, may have been somewhat outpatient or what have you. So it was, I think it was something that was not too
So they
invasive.
didn't have to do surgery. Did they have to do surgery?
You know what? They won.
I know that's right. And that's
Oh,
all that
yes,
matters.
yes. All of the details, I'm not very sure. But there was a winning situation
Awesome.
because of mammograms. But now you have your story to tell.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about your beginning of your journey, your diagnosis, a little background.
Well, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I used to advocate for her. And I got this nice jacket, and I had it made. It was custom made, and it was a woman on the back, and she was fighting. It's really, really nice. But I did that for my mom. So I did that for about, I guess, 2 years. And I would always talk about, on social media, I would talk about, do your self breast exams, make sure you do your mammograms. My mom, she has been diagnosed, and I just want to get the word out. So then it hit me. And I feel like, I don't know if I would say it's all the way, what do you call it when it's, when my mom has breast cancer, it automatically means that I'm going to get it.
Oh, hereditary?
Hereditary,
Yeah.
yeah. But I never actually feared for it at all because I was just like, oh, it's my mom. She's going to be okay. So I never thought that it would be me. But the time came and it was me. So, but I would always do my mammograms every year in October. And same happened this time. October comes around. That was 2019. And it came back negative, no problem. So January comes around. That was 2020. And I'm still doing my self breast exams. Although you do the mammograms, you still should every month around the same time do your self breast exams, regardless. So I'm doing.
Same time, the significance of the same time. Is there a
Um,
significance to that?
they say it's the time when you're supposedly on your cycle
I see.
around that time.
I see.
So I'm doing my exam and I felt a little lump behind my nipple. And I'm like, this is weird because last month I checked and it wasn't there. So I'm thinking. And then I just had my mammogram that previous October. So I didn't think anything of it. It was just like, well, let me just do what I'm supposed to do, go get checked. So I get an appointment with my doctor, my OBGYN, the lady doctor is what we call them.
Okay.
And she felt that she was like, I think it's probably a cyst, but let's just do everything that we're supposed to do to make sure. I'm like, okay, not worried at all. She set me up with the breast surgeon, and they did a biopsy and they did an ultrasound. And so I just needed to wait. So, like the next week while I was waiting, I did another mammogram as protocol, and it came back negative. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm cool. Whatever happens at this point, I'm cool because it's come back negative. So I'm thinking it's just a cyst, and we will probably have something later on so I could get, the cyst taken care of. So, like maybe a week or two later, the results came back from the ultrasound and the biopsy. So I'm at work and I'm walking down the hall and my phone rings and I got a call the call that I got was so shocking because the doctor, he didn't say, are you driving? Are you in a meeting? It was just, hey, want to let you know we did get your results back and you do have stage 1 cancer. And I'm walking down the hall at work with this information.
So he didn't get a good mark on bedside manner
At all.
tact or
No, I was like, I don't even remember seeing anything after that. It was like I was just walking down the hall and everybody that was passing me, I didn't see them. So
you did remain on your feet, right?
at that time, yeah. And the stuff that he was saying to this day, I still don't remember.
You just remember that part.
That's all I remember.
And
so
then everything else he said is like a blur.
it was a blur. So I automatically went to the next floor. Like I went to a floor where no one works in our building. And then I just broke down. And he was like, all right, well, do you have any questions? We'll have the breast surgeon to reach out to you. It was just so...
Matter of factly.
Yes. So I hung up with him. I called my gynecologist, the OBGYN, and I was like, I need to talk to her now. And see, she has had breast cancer as well. So she kind of knew what I was going through, what space I was in. So I'm talking to her. I'm crying. She can't hardly understand me. She knew who I was. And she said, I was telling her I had fallen on the floor. No one was up there. And she was like,
So you did eventually. You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I let it out. And she was like, well, and she's a God-fearing woman. So she was like, well, why are you on your knees? Let's go on and pray. So we did that. And she was like, my assistant will be in touch with you, but I want you to go to my breast surgeon for when I had breast cancer. So I was like, okay, and got myself together. And I went back downstairs, and it was right before I was about to get off work. So by this time, like I said, everything's a blur. But I knew that at that point my life had changed forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make a decision. Am I gonna go home, clearly get under the covers,
Mm-hmm.
and just cry it out?
Mm-hmm.
Um, or was I gonna go work out?
Mm-hmm.
Because I worked out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided I was gonna go work out.
You did.
Yeah. It
Uh-huh.
was like I can't do anything about it. And I'm so in shock. I probably shouldn't get in the traffic anyway. The boxing place was right down the street from my job.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna go box.
Yeah. That, do you think that was the best decision you could have made at the time?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because I feel like the journey
Mm-hmm.
that started pretty much at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
the breast cancer journey,
Mm-hmm.
I had to fight.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to fight the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, it was
I'm
very
gonna start fighting today.
Right.
I'm gonna
That's
start
really
fighting
what it
today.
was. So it was so symbolic.
Did you see the face of that guy who called you in that?
I can't say that I did, but that would have been great.
Say you call somebody like that.
Right. And I talked about him later to my breast surgeon. She was like, he's gonna have to do better with his bedside manner. And I was like, somebody needs to talk to him.
Yes, yes.
So I went to the boxing place, and the studio, it's dim. You know, they have like neon lights, but they're dim. And I don't know if they do that for the newcomers so they aren't like in the spotlight and people can see them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not dark, but it's dim.
Yes.
So it was symbolic. I cried the whole hour I was in there boxing. The whole hour it was just me and that bag.
Uh-huh.
And every feeling that you can think I probably would have felt, I'm sure I felt it.
Yeah.
Just anger, sadness. Why does it happen to me? You know, all those things. What am I supposed to do now? It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot. But I did it. I fought this entire time for this hour. And then I sat in my car. Like, well, after I finished boxing, I wiped my eyes and everything because I didn't want anybody to know that I've been crying. And, you know, when you're coming out of boxing, you're sweaty and all that. So it worked, you know. They didn't know that this sweat is tears.
Sweat and tears.
Right. So I went to my car, and then I was like, I got to call my dad. Yeah, and my dad passed away a few months ago. But,
So that was your first call?
yeah. Yeah. And, you know, it was him and my mom, and I let them know this is what it is. So they were very helpful in just me trying to, like, figure out
And process.
all of this. Yeah, just to process it all.
And like you said, your mother had gone through it, like 2 years prior to you.
About
so,
that
So
long.
she was able to kind of
Coach me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm grateful for that. And then you got Daddy's side. He's just, well, what we got to do? You know, he's just got that attitude like,
Yeah.
well, let me know where you need me to be at, when you need me. I'm like, Daddy, this journey, although you do need your family and your friends in that moment, and I never thought of it until I was in that moment, a lot of it is you doing things by yourself. You just kind of being alone, even if it's emotionally, psychologically, you're just kind of by yourself. And then I had to figure out how I was going to tell my daughter. She was a lot younger then, and it was just, oh, God. It was a lot.
How did she process it?
I decided not to tell her for a couple of days.
I see.
Yeah. And I'm kind of, my personality is a little, I try to be fun in everything, even though sometimes
Yeah.
it probably doesn't call for the laughter, but that's how I get through it,
Yes.
is laughter. So we're driving down the expressway, and I say, "Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I finally had the the ultrasound and biopsy, and the doctor called me. He said I had cancer." And my daughter, she looked, and she was like, "What do you mean? What? I don't understand." She was just, she didn't know how to process it. I was like, "Yeah, but I'll be okay." That didn't last long. By the time we made it to the house, we both were just,
Yeah.
it was bad. Because I felt like I needed to, if I could just tell my daughter, since was, she played a big part in my journey and making me, she really loved me back to life.
Yes.
Um, if I could just tell her, then I felt like I could get everything out to other people.
That
Yeah.
was so in your mind and heart. That was your biggest hurdle,
Hmm.
is getting the message over to her.
Yeah.
And once you did that, you felt like the rest of it, notifying others would be a little easier to
Yeah.
notify them, and she was gonna help you with your journey.
Hmm. Yeah, I say to this day, she loved me back to life, because there was a lot of times when I didn't know if I was going. Even though I was fighting, you still have that little bit in you that's like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. But she was there.
Yeah.
So that's how the journey started for me.
Yeah.
So then I had my appointment with the breast surgeon. And she scheduled everything for me. And I think in March, we scheduled it. No, in February we scheduled it, and I was stage 1 breast cancer. And we scheduled it for, I want to say, May. By the time May came around, I had already been diagnosed with stage 2.
So
Just that quick.
wow. So it was aggressive. Is that
I
is
would
that is
I
that is
I would say
saying that
yeah.
that the measure of the time for diagnosis is 1, and by the time for treatment is 2?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So imagine if I had not done my self breast exams.
Yes.
Imagine if I was not taking that seriously,
Yes.
because we can't always just depend on mammograms. Mammograms is only a part of it.
And mammograms is only annual, right?
Mhm.
It's like 12 months.
Yeah.
So your mammogram missed
Mhm.
what you found.
Yep.
And after you found it, the mammogram missed it again.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's something. And then when you got your treatment, by the time you got your treatment, you was in 2,
Mhm.
which was only a few months later.
Yep.
And you would have been depending on
That
the
mammogram.
mammogram, which would have came probably 8
October.
months
Yep.
after your treatment,
Yep.
which by that time you could have been in 3 or 4
Yep.
stage.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And let's say that the mammogram didn't catch it then.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means that the importance of the self exam, and it sounds like, now I'm not a doctor and I don't play one,
I don't either. I can only go by what I know.
but reasonably thinking, it also, in my mind, it really highlights the importance of monthly self exam,
Absolutely.
because through the monthly you noticed what's normal versus what's abnormal,
Absolutely.
and so
Yeah. And then like we have it's a global, um we call it Feel It on the First.
mm-hmm.
It's a global um time for everyone around the world to do their self-breast exams. And they call it Feel It on the First, which means on the first of every month, do your self-breast exams. If you continue to do it on the first, it becomes just a part of your life. So I try to promote it as much as possible. A lot of, if you go on Instagram, Facebook, and you do hashtag Feel It on the First, you'll see it. It's there. And it's women just reminding you, you got to do your self-breast exam. Because there's been a lot of women who didn't find it with the mammograms. They found it with their self-breast exams.
Yes.
So that's something that I feel is very important. And we also do, because I went through this journey, I'm now a part of a organization called I Will Survive. And they basically advocate for newly diagnosed breast cancer patients financially, as well as survivors, where they make sure that they can help financially, because a lot of times women have to stop working. You know, they have to they have to focus on just this journey, and a lot of times they have to stop working. So I Will Survive. It helped me. And now I am a part of I Will Survive, so that I can make sure.
So you kind of, what's saying, paying it forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I've seen it with my own eyes, that money that they're fundraising, I've seen it where they're helping other patients.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Good. So, what are some things that you did to help you through? So you've got your treatment that is diagnosed. Well, the treatment that's prescribed by the oncologist and all, surgery perhaps and all of that. But what things did you do that was therapeutic for you to help you through?
I continued to work out when I could, because I had 3 different surgeries after my double mastectomy. And the double mastectomy is just basically, of course, you got to go under the knife, but they're cutting out the breast tissue to alleviate as much as possible the cancer from coming back.
I see.
Yeah. So I had to have that. And then I had to have surgery for reconstruction.
I see.
So after that, I really just wanted to focus. You know, it was during the pandemic. So that was different because.
So how did that impact you or affect you?
Oh my God. I couldn't
during
have
that
any family members there.
Yeah.
The whole, I struggled for like a year with the different surgeries.
Yeah.
And couldn't have
Oh,
family.
yeah, that's right. It's like people would drop food at your door and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have pictures of people just putting stuff down, and then they would leave, and then I would pick it up off the floor, off the ground, because they couldn't come in my house.
Right.
That was so crazy.
Right, and then especially during that time, you going through all of that, then they're afraid of you
catching the COVID.
Yeah.
So,
were you like spraying the food down once you got
yeah, so like, everything that came in the house, it's funny, you're laughing, but that's exactly what I did. So, if we went grocery shop, well, I didn't go grocery shopping. I was in the house pretty much the whole time. So we would get groceries, and I would have my mask on, and I would just be like wiping down everything that came in the house.
You wipe down your apples.
Absolutely.
Especially those apples. They don't know who touched them things.
I mean, everything. I was wiping down everything because I just didn't want to get sick. And going through that process, I had too much going on already. So I'm not trying to get sick. So I was wiping down everything. Every time my daughter came in the house, she was washing her hands. She had to take her clothes off. It was crazy. And then at that time, no one really knew what was going on during COVID. So
in the beginning,
yeah. And I literally, actually, I was trying to figure out whether I should wait to have the surgery. Like I was thinking, okay, well, COVID is here, but maybe in like 3 months it'll be gone, and then I could get my surgeries and I can just start my treatment.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't know, like none of us knew that it was going to be here for years, and it was like everything was so uncertain.
Right.
So imagine you getting this diagnosis and the whole world shuts down and everybody got to stay in their house.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
and you're right though. There were surgeries that were put off.
yeah.
And I believe some people didn't make it because their
of that.
surgery was put off so long.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my breast surgeon, she told me in March, she was like, we need to go ahead and schedule you. And I was like, well, am I considered like, is this an elective surgery where you can put it off? She's like, absolutely not. She's like, baby, you have cancer. And we need to get this. She said, and now you're at stage 2. We don't have no more time. Like, we got to do this now.
Right.
So she was able to get me in. So, yeah. I mean, that takes me back. But, yeah, that was a lot.
So you had to really do some therapeutic things for yourself, especially being is that where you didn't have the visitors, you didn't have the people that could just come and sit with you and be with you and comfort you in the present, by being present with you.
Right.
You probably had phones and FaceTime.
Yeah,
and
we would do
that.
FaceTime all the time with, family members. And I've had family members we would be like on a group FaceTime. So that was great. Those things were great. But I started painting.
Really?
Yeah, that's what got me into painting. And I absolutely love it.
Yes.
And I started off not knowing what I was doing. But it was just the strokes and just being in this space. And it's just me and this paintbrush and this canvas. I didn't know what I was painting. I was just painting. And I got some pictures. I look at it. I'm like, what is
that? What was I thinking? What's my inspiration? And you the one that painted it. You didn't know your own inspiration.
I had no idea. And I'm just like, what? And I'm turning it different ways. And I'm like, don't get it. But then I started channeling my dad, who was an artist.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, like, well, just put this here. And he would help me over the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would show him pictures. And he was like, all right, well, do this and do that. And, that was good bonding for us.
Yes.
But then I started really liking it.
You start seeing stuff for yourself.
Yeah. I did coloring, which is a part of painting.
Yeah.
I colored a lot. I did crossword puzzles. And then that's when I started getting into I Will Survive.
Yeah.
So I tried to stay busy.
Yeah.
Because I spent a lot of time in one place.
Yes.
So
you need to really do something with your mind.
You have to.
So you didn't go what they call stir crazy or
Stir crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So you stay busy. Now you did the coloring. Did you use the pencils to do it?
Oh, I did crayons.
You did
crayons?
Gotta
do crayons from back in the day.
Now the coloring thing. Now I really like that. Like when I get with my children, I almost want to challenge them. Who can stand in lines? Who can make the most beautiful picture?
Yep.
You know, that's I don't know. I might need to get me a coloring book.
Get you a coloring book, even if you don't have this journey.
Yeah.
It's so therapeutic.
Yes. So the color. I do want to go back to the painting.
Okay.
where did that come from? I mean, just to spark it, to begin it. Where did you get the idea to just say, I'm gonna paint something? Where did you get that from?
It's actually someone from the church. I
Mm-hmm.
Because I also had a stroke.
Yes.
I don't remember who it was.
Uh-huh.
Um, but she was calling just to check on me,
Yes.
and she was talking about painting
Mm-hmm.
as something to do,
Uh-huh.
and that's just how I got into it. And I was like,
Okay.
painting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I was like, all right, well, I don't have nothing else to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it started something now where I absolutely love.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Good, good, good.
Yep.
Okay, so you got the painting, you got the coloring, you got your coloring books, and you got your crossword puzzles,
Hmm.
and what else?
Well, after I was able to kind of get back out,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was the one that was at the gym with the mask on,
Oh
because
yeah,
I was so afraid of COVID.
yeah,
But hey, I had my mask on, but I was kind of out there.
yeah. Well, let me ask you a question about that, because I've seen people on the treadmill with a mask on, and I just,
It
I'm like, I'm I'm,
it
I'm
don't work.
concerned for them. I'm concerned for them.
Yes, I would be too.
Yeah.
So for me, I did um weight training.
Okay,
I
okay,
would do my
okay.
weight
I see.
training, but
Okay.
I could not
The
do the
cardio. Wait a
treadmill.
minute.
Absolutely
But
not.
I saw some people doing it, and because I was at the gym, I tried to get back in as early as I could
Hmm.
get in as well. But I see these people on the treadmill with a mask on, and I'm like, how are you doing that?
I have seen it too.
How are you breathing? I
Right.
mean, you need to take in. I mean,
Fresh air.
yes, yes, yes. You're
Yeah.
just breathing from your mouth. You got this circle
Consistently.
going on. And Lord, I hope they don't pass out.
Yeah. And then it's like at some point I had to just get over it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, there's no better way to say it.
Yes. You
So,
mean the fear and
yeah.
just and
Yeah.
start living freely.
Right.
Yes.
And then another thing that I used to do is I would go to the park.
Yes.
The park is less than 10 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that, and still is something that my daughter and I enjoy.
Yes.
So we just go there. And I would do a little, because I mean, I had 3 surgeries. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like I can just go full force.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I would do different exercises while I was at the park. I have some video of my daughter. We would play kickball, and it was just a matter of her rolling it. I couldn't run per se,
Mm-hmm.
but I would kick it,
Mm-hmm.
and just that little bit
Mm-hmm.
helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And we would do some other exercises with my arms. Because my arms were stiff because
Mm-hmm.
of the surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see a difference like 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks of how my range of motion
Mm-hmm.
extended because I stayed out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't do the gym as much as I did the park, but the park was something that really helped continuously bond me and my daughter together anyway.
Yes.
So, and it was just great. It was just good to get out, get that fresh air.
Fresh air.
And I just remember the plastic surgeon, she was saying, if because she knew of how afraid I was,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, well, just go to a park that's not busy. And that way,
Afraid you were of getting sick or catching something?
no, afraid of COVID.
Yes. Yes.
And she was like, if you go to a park where it's hardly anyone there,
Yes.
then you don't have to wear your mask and you can just breathe fresh air.
Yeah.
And it's also helping your range of motion as well. And
Yes.
it definitely did.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And the physicality of your being physical.
Hmm.
Um, how did that deal? How did that work with your emotions and your mental state?
It helped a lot because when the pandemic first happened, I'm in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go nowhere. At least, going to the grocery store, I look at that so differently now because there was
Mm-hmm.
a time when I couldn't go to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would get in my car and my daughter would be driving, and we would just. I remember just driving downtown with the windows open just to get some fresh air at night. So I definitely think if you are in a position where you really can't do anything, I mean that can really it can mess you up. That's depression,
Yes, yes,
and I just didn't want to go down that road.
right.
So I would just try my best to do things where I can just be out. So as much as I could.
Yes, yes. Very good, very good. And so you're well now.
I am.
Yeah,
I am.
yeah.
I always say cancer came, we fought,
Mm-hmm.
and I won.
Well, you still are quite the competitor, aren't you?
I am. I
Uh,
am. It didn't break my spirit
yes, yes.
when it could have.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't let it break my spirit. Um, there were times when I was down,
Yes.
but I guess I've always been kind of a fighter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna just do it. Like I started the journey fighting physically with the boxing.
First day.
Yep, first day,
Uh,
and I just have not let up.
yeah, yeah,
I just haven't.
yeah. So, and not only uh, did you fight, you started with your mom,
Hmm.
and then you say you had on the back of your shirt.
It was a jacket that it was a camouflage jacket,
Yes.
and I had it custom made. And the back of it, it had a lady with boxing gloves,
Uh-huh.
and it was like fight.
Yes.
But I made that for my mom.
Yeah, 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 that wasn't for you. That was for the other person.
But now I
You
wear
had
it
to take your
now.
own medicine.
I had to take my own medicine, so now I wear it for the both of us.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's wonderful. And are you boxing again?
I haven't. I haven't started back,
You haven't started back.
but I will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will. I miss it.
Yes.
Yeah, and now that I'm not as afraid to get out now to do things, I think that that's something that I will do.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
may have to check in on you.
Yeah, please do. I remember I wasn't able to, and I think you said it to motivate me, but I remember you were like, all right, I run, I think you said 3 miles or 5 miles a day or something like that. And you was like, when you get better,
Uh-huh.
I want to challenge you to a race.
Yeah.
I still remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were up mother's house. And
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
you saying that, and I was like, all right.
Yeah. I did a 5K today.
Really?
Yeah, I ran today. And in fact, yesterday I wasn't really trying to run yesterday. I had my 7 pound weights and I walked my community one time around. It's like 2.13 miles.
Okay.
And so I saw these two ladies. They were coming out and they was getting ready to work out. And so I just asked them, I said, "You want to race?"
Oh, that's cool.
And both of them raced me.
So who won? Oh Lord.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. It was fun, And so I enjoy doing that. But really doing physical things, it really can help with
Absolutely.
mental clarity, your mood, your emotions,
Absolutely.
anxiety. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why I continuously, work out. Is that's the benefits, the health benefits, and just helping you to be able to think better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know we were talking about, although we are focusing on breast cancer. I also had a stroke a year and a half ago,
yes,
and that was from stress. So I was off work for a whole year with that. But I'm 100% now
yes.
back.
Yes. I thought about that. I said, you know what? I remember, like, even when we had that conversation at our grandmother's house about the racing, you got on me because I was the conversation that we was having, you weren't ready to talk like that. You said like
Oh
I was
yeah.
it was making
It was
you
overwhelming because I think you were talking and you were so animated,
uh-huh.
and at that time I wasn't where I am now where we could actually have a nice conversation.
Right.
I was a little bit more stalled, I guess.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
having to think more and
Yes.
everybody got to be quiet because I need
Uh-huh.
to think about what I'm saying.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, I remember that too, but
And
it's
you're so fluid. And
yes.
I still have animation.
Right. But now I can handle
You can
it.
handle it.
Whereas back then I was like, you got to slow down.
It's
Just
like you gonna have to change how you talking. Like, what did I
no, it
say?
was me, but I think they call that aphasia, and I
Uh-huh.
was just having to get better at it.
Yes, yes.
But I brought that up to say
Mm-hmm.
that because I stay physical,
Yes.
um, it has helped me when I'm having health issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I had the stroke, I was actually working out that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we were working out with like 35-pound dumbbells.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the trainer, he was like, all right, this is, I had just gotten the 35 pounds. And, I was working at the kettlebells. That's one of my favorites. I love the kettlebells. And there's so much you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the stroke that evening.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends who also works out with me, she called the trainer and was like, Arletha has had a stroke. And he's like, what are you talking about? I just worked out with her this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And my doctor said, because you are so active, that is going to help you in your healing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
I really do. When I got home from the doctor, I was in the hospital for 5 or 6 days from the stroke. And one of the first things I wanted to do was work out. But I had the worst mobility. I could barely pick up anything. I had to learn to walk. I had to learn to brush my teeth, to talk, everything. But I was so focused on, I want to work out. So I had my walker, and he had it on virtual. I got online, and he was like, Arletha, let's see what you can do. And I went from a 35-pound kettlebell to a 4-pound weight, and I could barely pick it up because of the stroke.
Right.
And that's humbling.
Yes.
That's very humbling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, just 2 weeks ago, I was picking up this 35-pound and we was working it. And now this 4 pound and I could barely pick it up. But I didn't quit. Instead of it being an hour workout, it was more like 20 minutes. That's all I could do. But I just kept going. It just kept going because, just like you said, that physical, it literally affects every part of your body. So for me, that's what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah, going back, I'm a fighter.
Yes, yes. So you fought through that.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of times, I think the scripture says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." And sometimes how we think. Sometimes people get a diagnosis and they'll go home and they're gone.
Yep.
Just because they got the diagnosis. There are other people who get a diagnosis and say, you know what?
I'm going to go boxing.
Yeah, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. We're going to fight this.
Absolutely.
We're going to fight this. And then you know about how our grandmother was.
Oh yes.
And she just didn't believe it. She did the treatments, but she didn't believe everything that was told to her. And she had faith and confidence that she was going to be all right. And for 7 years, whereas I think it might have been stage 4 when they.
Yeah, it was stage 4.
And that's usually about the end.
Yeah, and with her being older, it really is the end.
Yes, and it was a stomach cancer, and but she believed something different.
Yep.
And my point in saying that is, oftentimes is
It's mental.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because some people would have taken that and just went home and laid down and died. But I remember were you at the house when she told everybody, she gathered everybody together? People start crying. He's like, "Don't be crying,
Don't be crying.
don't be crying for me. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
be
all
all
right.
right.
I don't even believe I got." It's like, okay, okay.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah,
I
she
remember
about to
that.
fuss at us for crying.
Yes. If you gonna cry, you need to go downstairs. You ain't gonna do that around
We ain't
me.
doing that up here.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like I kind of have a
Some of
little
that.
bit of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I even remember when uh, so like that year is like okay, no, so like people starting to think that maybe on the weaker side where well okay, so what we gonna do about Thanksgiving and like she's not gonna be able to do that,
Right,
in
right.
our thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, she shouldn't do this, and she's like, I'm cooking.
And y'all coming over here. Yeah.
And for years it kept on,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And and my point in even bringing that in is just to say the mindset that some people have
Mhm.
is just very helpful.
Absolutely.
Your faith, what you believe, and
Mhm.
how you think about, what you're going through. And yeah, so I just think that that's really something that people need to think about. If you do receive this diagnosis, some people are going to receive that diagnosis. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear
Right.
it.
We
I,
don't.
I was even saying on Sunday that, you know, um, if I went to an oncologist, um, I don't want them to tell me I got cancer. I don't want them to tell me that only if I don't have cancer. If I got cancer,
Mhm.
I want them to tell me.
Okay.
You understand?
Mm.
Nobody wants to hear a diagnosis of
Oh
cancer.
yeah, absolutely.
But if it's the truth, tell me the truth.
Tell me the truth. Don't
Tell me the
assume.
truth.
Don't assume anything.
Hmm.
Just tell me the truth.
Tell me the truth. Don't tell me like Shantae's doctor told her. Don't do
Please
that.
don't. Please don't.
Have some empathy.
Please.
Make sure I'm not driving.
Right.
Make sure I'm not holding my grandkids or something like
Right.
that.
You're right.
Make sure I'm in a calm state. But tell me the truth,
Tell me the
and
truth.
then the truth can allow me to know what I need to do next.
Right.
And so my point in saying that is simply this: is that somebody that may be listening to us
Mhm.
may get that diagnosis
Mhm.
because it's a reality.
It is a reality.
And you may think that not me, somebody else, and it may be you.
Maybe you.
However, if it is you, do get your mind right.
Yeah.
Get your mind
And
right.
I feel like for me, I advocated for myself.
Yes.
The mammogram came back negative.
Hmm.
I could have said that's it. But for me, it was no, we need to get some more stuff done because I could have it. But I feel like that's because I advocated for myself. So imagine my OBGYN was saying, oh, it's just a cyst. I could have gotten that and been gone. Just left her office and that was it.
Yes.
But for me, it was no, let's go ahead and do the ultrasound and the biopsy. And she was on board. But what if I did not advocate for myself?
Which means you advocated for the truth.
Absolutely.
You didn't advocate for just what you wanted to hear,
Right.
which to say that you were free, that's wonderful and that's what you want,
Mm-hmm.
but you really advocated for the truth.
Absolutely.
I want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And because you learned the truth, that's possibly why you're sitting here today.
I agree.
And the scripture even says that you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that grows across many different avenues. Lies just really won't help you because without the truth, you won't know what to do.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people that actually say, I'm not doing it because I don't want to know the truth. I hear that all the time.
Yes, yes. They don't want to hear but without knowing the truth, you don't know how to fight.
Yep. Or I had a friend of mine who I also have a Facebook page. I don't use it as often as I used to, but I use my Facebook page to get the word out. I might post once a month, but it's probably going to be talking about breast cancer. And do you not know, a friend of mine, she saw my post. She is probably 2 years older than I am. And she was like, there Arletha's talking again about her breast cancer and all that. She was like, let me just check my breast and see. You know, she had stage 3 breast cancer. All because of my post. It made her say, let me just do it.
All them other times, she was just almost, she see it and ignore.
She would see it and
As far
ignore
as
it.
the doing part, she acknowledged, okay, yeah, Arletha, that's my girl.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I ain't doing that.
Yep.
Not this.
And
But
then this
then
one
day,
time,
yeah.
I did it, and she listened, and she did it, and she had stage 3. She just finished everything. I think she's 2 years cancer free now.
Wow.
But she had to go through the chemo, the radiation. She had to go through all of that, and she had a very long journey, and it started because of my post.
Right. Right. 'Cause
So
she,
you
yeah.
have to, if you don't do anything else, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to do your self breast exams. Don't just do the mammogram and think it's okay, because it might not be.
Yes. Yes. And I tell you, thank you for sharing your journey and bringing this awareness that a lot of people may not have. Or put it like this, I think a lot of people have awareness of getting their annual mammograms,
They do.
but the awareness that the mammogram can miss and that you really need to advocate for yourself, which means seek the truth.
Seek the truth.
Seek the truth. Don't just seek the flowery message. Seek the
Absolutely.
truth. And if the truth is the flowery message, wonderful, praise God. But if it's the truth that you don't want to hear, now you know you need to fight.
I agree.
Now you know you need to fight.
I
And
agree.
then you begin to know how to fight so you can survive.
Right.
So you
You're doing
can
it,
survive.
you're getting it early.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And your survival is not just about you. It's about you and those around you that would be impacted by you not being here.
Right. Right. That's true. I remember one of the nurses. She was scheduling my first the double mastectomy, and she said, I was telling, because I was feeling bad that day. Just woe is me. I was in that space, and I was like, I guess I won't do anything for my birthday this year. And it was like at the beginning of February, and my birthday is the 22nd of February. And I was just sitting there, and she was trying to put me on the schedule. And I said, I just don't think I'm going to do anything for my birthday this year. And she looked up with those eyes, and she said, absolutely not. You will do something for your birthday, because I have seen it where there's been so many women that didn't make it to see their birthdays. So because you are here, do something for your birthday. And that hit home for me, because there's a lot of women that don't get to see their next birthday. So for me, it was like, okay, I'll find something to do. And I just remember that conversation.
Well, wonderful. And so as we close, tell me about your shirt.
My shirt. So, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I try to, every day of the month, represent in some way, form, or fashion. So,
Fashion. So here we are.
yes,
Fashion.
yes.
Okay.
This is not a Halloween costume.
Okay.
This is my breast cancer.
So who is that gal?
Well, it looks like you have the ribbon here for breast cancer awareness.
Okay.
And then you have the lady there with her afro, and she has...
She's natural.
She's definitely natural.
Okay.
With her boxing gloves.
Okay.
For fight. You have to fight.
You have to fight.
So, yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts,
Okay.
because it symbolizes everything about myself. I'm natural.
Okay.
I love boxing. And then you have the breast cancer ribbon.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're a survivor.
And I'm a survivor
And
because I fought
yes. And you started the first day.
the first day.
That's wonderful. You have a wonderful story, and I'm
Thank
glad
you.
that you shared it with us. And I think that we have brought a new light to the awareness
Absolutely.
of breast cancer. I think that what you shared with us today brings a different awareness to some people who are already aware of some things, but they may need it that extra push, like your friend did.
Mm-hmm.
Did and so thank you for advocating.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for advocating and helping other women to um, take care of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not good to leave too soon.
Agreed.
Everybody has to leave, but let's not do it too soon.
I agree.
Let's not do it too soon. So we're glad that Arletha Lemons is a survivor and a fighter
Absolutely.
and an advocate. And an advocate.
Yes.
And so we thank you for that. And thank you for coming and sharing. And we thank you for being a part of this podcast as we make people aware or help people to in their awareness about breast cancer and what to do and how to survive and how to get treatment early. If there is an issue, seek the truth, know the truth, and then know how to fight. And we hope and pray that you will come back to the Growing in Grace podcast, like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you until next podcast. God bless you.